and welcome to day 15 and the end of week 2 of the Moving Mountains journey. I want to congratulate and acknowledge you for being here with me today. However you've arrived, whether you've been there every step along the way with every single lesson on time, or whether your path has evolved in a slightly more organic way, one way or another, you're here right now, and it's a celebration point. We're almost halfway through the journey, and in truth, we've pushed a lot of energy, and in many ways, the path will open up and be a lot easier from here on forward. So I want to really acknowledge these first few big steps that you've taken, and however you've shown up, and whatever you've moved within yourself to be here today, thank you. Thank you for stepping on the path, and I celebrate the fact that we can stand and sit here together in the dawn of a new day at the end of week 2 right now. In week 2, we cracked open the vault of the mind, and through our different guest presenters and exercises and lessons, we've begun to become aware of our mind as this sort of architect or designer of our body and experience. And hopefully through this, we've begun to gain a greater awareness of our own thoughts and how they are playing out in our life on a day-to-day basis. And through that, I hope that we've also begun to give ourselves the gift of choosing thoughts that are more productive and more conducive and more expansive and more deeply aligned with where we really want to go. One of the greatest lessons that I learned when I first started to explore my thoughts in a conscious way was how powerful it is to simply begin choosing the thoughts that I want to have. And it sounds very, very simple, and in truth it is. But oftentimes we forget that we actually have the choice to think in the direction that we wish to. We've become, in many ways, slaves to our mind in this modern era, and oftentimes we just go where our mind leads us. And the crazy thing is that our mind often seeks for these little cracks in the shadows, and seeks out the fears and the pains and the judgments and the worries. And if we just allow our mind to take us in this direction, then, well, it's quite happy to do that. But if we give our mind a mission, if we give our mind a focus point, if we give our mind some direction and say, how can I feel more of this today? How can I take deeper steps towards this dream today? How can I perceive this relationship in a new way today? Show me the solution. Show me the greatest, highest path in this situation. Show me the greatest gift today. What am I grateful for? If we start to ask our mind questions that move it in a more positive direction, we find that it naturally says, okay, and it takes us in that direction. The mind does not care what it's asked. It simply hunts out the answer. So hopefully this week you've had the gift of starting to ask stronger and more clear questions. And one of the other great lessons that I learned early in my study of the mind is how powerful it is to simply take a thought that we wish to have and to place it next to a thought that we may not wish to hold or carry anymore. That if our mind is cycling around in an area in a way that is really unproductive and is spiraling us into negative emotions, oftentimes it can be difficult to counter that thought, to resist it or to stop it. And in this modern day, I think a lot of people have become quite paranoid about what they think, because they think, oh, my thoughts create my reality. Oh, that was a bad thought. And they try to stop it. And there is a rule in the universe that says oftentimes what we resist persists. And I know I've felt that feeling of having a thought come into my energy system and wanting so much to resist it, but really feeling the harder I try to resist it, the more it comes. It's like, like they say, try not to think about a pink elephant, and suddenly your mind goes, pink elephant. So what I've found is a very powerful tool is to simply give another thought, lay another thought next to it, or give your mind the opportunity just to shift in a slightly different direction, like we talked about with walking with the wind a couple of days ago. To take our ideal vision and just place it next to it gently. Just place it next to it gently. And it's kind of like Nikita had shared with us early in the week, by simply returning to the breath, returning to the breath, and let our mind go off and then return to the breath. If we have a positive thought, if we have a positive image that represents the energy that we're wanting to move to, we can let our mind do its thing and then just gently return it to the thought that we want. Don't try to stop that thing. Just go, okay, and now I return to the thought that I want to have, and let that build energy in my body. Let that build energy in my emotions. Okay, now I return to the thought that I want to have and the image that I want to have. And one of the things that I've found particularly useful for me in my early days of meditation and learning to work with the focus of my mind has been the sun, and particularly the sunrise or the sunset. But those early hours of the day when the sun is most pristine, it seems, and sparkly, and seems to make everything glow anew, is always been a visual metaphor that has helped to guide my mind. And in the beginning of the week, when Nikita shared with us this beautiful exercise of clearing the mind with breath, of allowing our exhale to carry our thoughts out of our body and out of our head, and then allowing our inhale to clear our mind. It reminded me of something that I sort of organically came upon or created when I was traveling alone in Greece as a youngster. And I was having some quite busy thoughts, and I was on my own out on the road, and I didn't know what was going to come next. And I found myself doing this exercise each morning. It was a simple exercise of, as Nikita shared, exhaling our thoughts and then inhaling the energy or the vision of the sunrise. And for me, that gave me something simple to focus my mind on that actually, similar to the breath, that actually galvanized a lot of my energy into other thoughts that are similar to that. It's sort of a progression, I guess, of what Nikita shared with us earlier this week. And it gives us the opportunity to begin to go from a clear mind to actually a focalized mind in the direction that we're really wanting to create in life. And while I'm not trying to create sunrise in my life, I am trying to cultivate the energy of sunrise in my life. And so as I inhale the energy of sunrise and I allow that to work its way through my body, I'm inhaling every aspect or idea in my life that represents or is reflective of that sunrise energy. All the areas that I want new energy or new light or sparkly new possibility or life force gets inhaled into my being. And then I exhale gently whatever other thought that I'm having. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, negative thoughts, positive thoughts, they're all going out. And my intention is to actually just completely renew my mind, completely clear it away and fill it with the light of the new day. It's a wonderful gift and metaphor and a reminder to us every day that we can so easily carry yesterday's challenges and wake up with this head full of stuff and feel already behind. But if we give ourselves the gift of breathing in the sunrise and exhaling whatever else is in there, we actually give ourselves the gift of starting the day anew in a really genuine sense, and kind of positioning our mind with a reflection or a reference point to how we want to choose our thoughts the rest of the day. I find if we choose our thoughts well early, and our first few thoughts are focused on the highest aspect of ourselves, it sets the pace for the day. So here on day 15, at the end of week 2, let us forgive and let go anything that's led up to this moment right here that's felt less than who we could have been. And let's give ourselves the gift of beginning this day with new thoughts. Thoughts that are reflective of the sun within us that's breaking through the clouds.